Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Savvy, featuring entrepreneurs, authors, and people with a passion. I'm your host, Kathleen Driver, and joining us today is Lesley Anderson, who has a passion for travel and assisting others to travel to great destinations. Lesley is a travel concierge with Vacationeze Travel. And before we jump into travel talk, Lesley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Kathy, I want to thank you for first. Thank you for bringing me on. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you.
talk
Thank
about my
you.
business.
Thanks so
Well,
much.
I am from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I attended Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, my favorite school, and I am married 21 years and have two beautiful daughters, Taylor and Logan. And
All
I live
right.
right here in the Upper Marlboro area.
Okay, good. Thanks for sharing that with us because
Hmm.
folks always want to know a little bit about the person behind the business.
Hmm.
So thanks for sharing that with us. So, Lesley, it's summertime. I
Yes.
almost wore my shades in here today, but it's summertime and it's also prime time for travel. So,
Yes.
tell us what you can do as a travel concierge. If I call you, what can you do for me in terms
Oh,
of travel?
love travel. As you see, live, love,
I
travel. That's
see
my
that. I
thing.
see that.
Well, as a travel concierge, I love to help people put their vacations together. So, the one thing that I do is work with them trying to put together their resorts. I do cruises. I do domestic travel as well, and any other type of vacations that they're looking for.
Okay.
I can help them with air as well if that's something that they're interested
Okay, let's
in.
talk about themes
Hmm.
because I saw from your website and from some of your promotionals that you do destination theme
Oh,
destinations.
yes.
So girlfriend getaways are big. Honeymoons are always
Hmm.
something that people are looking for. Anniversary trips.
Yes,
But let's
yes.
just let's talk about your theme trips. Let's start with girlfriend
Well,
getaways. What
those
would you
are
do?
awesome. The
Okay.
girlfriend getaways are great. I have a lot of those that I've booked. I have a couple of them that I'm working on now. And those are just when girlfriends want to get away, I send them to a fun resort. Not a couples only, but an adults only, where they can go and have a good time. Some of them are very low key, and some get all the way live, house
Okay.
music,
All
the
right.
full throttle. But I love that because it's a time for them to regroup and just have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I also do destination weddings. I'm working on two of those right now.
Okay.
I also do guys golf trips.
Oh.
And another new niche is the bachelorettes and bachelor getaways. So they're
Okay.
doing a little destination even before the
Well,
honeymoon,
tell us a little bit more
for the
about that.
wedding.
That's something that's new to me. I've never heard of that.
Oh wow!
Maybe because
Yeah.
I'm not getting married or anything. But tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, what they're doing is instead of just going and having a bridal shower or just a bachelor party, they're actually taking their fun international.
Okay.
I've talked to a couple of them, haven't booked one yet. I know it's coming,
Mm-hmm.
but I've booked. I'm interested in where sending them someplace again, kind of like a girls' getaway, where they can go and have some fun and spend some time with that bride or groom before they get married.
Okay. So let's go
Mm-hmm.
back to the girlfriend getaway for just a second, because you
Yes.
mentioned that you would pick the destination. Like sometimes you pick like it's adults
Mm-hmm.
only mostly,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll pick a destination kind of geared towards the group.
Well, yes.
So, for me, if I were going to go on a girlfriend's destination, I would want a little bit of a mix, because we have all different personalities in my group
Absolutely.
of friends. So, how would you go about selecting a resort for us?
Absolutely. What I do is be no different than I do for all my clients. I always take the time to talk to my clients to find out what do they want out of their vacation.
Okay.
What type of resort do they want? Do they want something on the smaller side or are they looking for something pretty big? What activities do they want to do while they're on their vacation? Once I get a lot of those details, that's what a concierge does. That's what makes me a little different because I want to make sure I'm finding the best location for them.
Okay.
Once I do that, then I can find out the different ideas in the group, the different interests to make sure everybody's going to be happy on this trip.
Okay. So, what are
Mm-hmm.
some popular destinations right now?
Oh, wow. Well, it's always the top. Those, some of these do never change. Montego Bay, Jamaica, Ocho Rios, Jamaica, they are still very popular. Playa del Carmen and Riviera Maya Cancun are also very popular destinations. I tend to have a lot of clients ask me about them, A, because they're easy to get to. The rates, airfare are pretty reasonable. And then there's so many options. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that spring break place people always think of.
Right.
It's
Right.
really different.
Right.
And they have
Right.
very beautiful, luxurious places.
Okay.
It's also a lot of people have called recently for Cuba. People have called for South Africa. That's one of the resorts, one of the locations I'm working on right now. And Dubai and Abu Dhabi are very popular as well.
Okay. Well, you read my mind with one of the questions in terms of what makes it so popular. And you mentioned ease of getting there. I've been to Ocho Rios, and Ocho Rios is like one of my favorite destinations, and it was very easy to get to.
Yes.
The resort that I stayed at was all inclusive. They had a lot to choose from, so I think that's important in a destination. But since Cuba is kind of new now for people going, because there's no restriction in us going to Cuba anymore. Can you tell us a little bit more about Cuba and what people can expect?
Well, it's interesting. Most of my clients that I've booked to Cuba have done it directly through the cruise.
Okay.
Because they were not sure about the hotels or the accommodations there. A lot of the accommodations there are Airbnbs, and they're still building things up. So this was their way, by going through the cruise, that they could take advantage of the beautiful, beautiful Cuba, but also be able to stay on the cruise and know that they didn't have to worry about exactly.
I went to Nassau.
Oh,
once,
okay.
And a native of Nassau told me, they could go to Cuba.
Yes.
I guess they could just travel freely back and forth to Cuba. And he mentioned to me, he said, if you ever go to Cuba, you will never go to another Caribbean island.
Wow.
It's that beautiful.
Wow.
So have you been
I have
to
not
Cuba?
been yet.
Okay.
It's on my list.
Well, it's on my list too, because if it's that beautiful, then I definitely want to go. So I was going to ask you about hidden gems, and so sounds like you've already talked about some of those.
Well, some other
hidden gems. What are some destinations that we may not see in some of the travel brochures that you may recommend?
There's some really great ones. We actually had the pleasure of going to the Moon Palace. The Palace Resorts have beautiful, luxurious 5-star resorts. And the one that we had the pleasure of going to last year was Moon Palace, Jamaica. And it was beautiful. It actually took the place of the old Renaissance Jamaica Grand, and it is breathtaking. And it was very luxurious, and all of my guests that were there had a fabulous time. I love that because that's a great family resort. There's also the Secrets. Secrets are starting to be very, very popular. They're a great location. They're adults only, not just couples, but they're a great location for girlfriends who want to get away. It's a great location for anybody who wants something different, but again, that 4 or 5-star level resort.
Right.
There's some also great ones for families. We have the Dreams, which is the sister property to Secrets, and then the adults only is LeBlanc, which is the top level of the Palace Resorts. Yes, fabulous stay there.
You definitely know your travel business. So what about the single traveler? Like for me, sometimes, I just feel like I'm overworked. I need a break. Some of my friends can't just drop what they're doing and go because I want to go on vacation. So what would you do for me as a single traveler? And let me add another wrinkle to that, or another challenge point for you. I'm a single traveler, but I want to travel in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, first of all, as a single traveler, I would definitely recommend an adults only, unless you tell me you don't mind a family resort. Like I said, I have 2 beautiful daughters, and I love them, but if I'm going somewhere and they're not going, I necessarily don't want to be around children. So I would definitely recommend for you an adults-only resort. So I would think about the Excellence that I mentioned earlier, the Breathless, which, like you said, sometimes you want that quiet area, sometimes you want something a little bit more high activity. And then there's also Sandals, but Sandals is couple. So trying to think of that single. There's Chic. There's a lot of different resorts people don't think about, but I would focus on adults only for you.
And then what about the price point then? If I'm, if I call you and I want to travel within the next 2 to 3 weeks, is there like, am I going to have to pay like a high premium because it's short notice? I mean, what would you be able to do for me as a last minute traveler?
Yeah, what I'm finding is it's not going to be so much on my end because I can get you still a great deal with the resort. What I'm finding is going to be your air. And that actually just happened to me this morning.
Well, that, no one has control over that, regretfully.
But when they're combining them to bundle their, get the better savings, they're combining the air. And unfortunately, air is not discounted for agents. So it's going to be what it's going to be. But I can still get you a great deal if you're doing a last minute getaway.
Okay. Well, I went to your website, and so we talked a little bit about some of these points. But what I liked about what I saw on your website.
Mm-hmm.
It said, "Why choose Vacationeze?" And it said, "Need more incentive. Here are the top reasons to book your next trip with experts at Vacationeze."
Okay, that would be me.
And that would be you. And so one of the points was unbeatable low price guarantee, which
Yes.
you talked about
Yes,
in
we
terms
do.
of the prices that you're able to leverage as a travel concierge.
Yes, and one thing, Kathy, I did not mean to interrupt.
No,
The
go
one
ahead.
thing that's important is I've had clients say to me, I've actually found a lower rate than what you offered me on the actual resort site. And I was able to go back and not only match but beat that price.
Okay,
So I
okay.
can also compete when it's other agents or the resort. I can't compete to those online sites, but I can compete with those. So I always try to do what I can do to gain my client's business.
Okay, you anticipated my question, so
Oh,
thanks for offering that
okay.
additional information. So unbeatable price. Glad that you can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
The second point was value added exclusive benefits at many resorts that other sites can't offer.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us a little bit more about that?
The value added would be me, but
Okay.
the exclusive benefits is I always try to get the perks and resort credits for my clients.
Okay.
I've heard stories where clients told me I've booked 15, 10, 15, 20 rooms and they didn't get any perks out of it. Even their guests didn't get anything. I always look to make sure that my client is either getting a free stay, so a comped room,
Okay.
upgrades, and something for every room that's also booked in that group.
Okay.
Oh, that absolutely.
Okay.
I think, especially when we're doing groups, I think that lead person should always receive something. But I try to get something for everyone.
Okay. And when you say group, like how many people are you talking?
A group
in
could be 5 or more. It actually
Okay.
depends on the resort. Some resorts consider 5 a group. Some consider 10. And I
Okay.
always discuss that with my clients as we're putting together their group
Okay.
booking.
Okay. All right. Then the third point was a knowledgeable and experienced vacation concierge staff to help you plan your dream vacation, and that's you. So
That's
we've already
me.
talked about that. And then the last one that was, I think, the most attractive to me, other than the unbeatable low price guarantee, was we don't charge a fee for our service, allowing you to put those savings to work at the destination of your choice.
That's a great
So
point.
yeah, let's talk about that, Leslie,
Yeah.
because I've used travel agents in the past and found that the price was not what I would consider to be value.
Okay. And I
think it's because of the premium or the additional fees that I didn't know, and I'm calling them, I'm saying hidden fees for lack of a better word, because those fees were not real obvious, on our
up to you up
invoice.
front.
So let's talk about that particular perk or
Absolutely.
advantage of using you as a travel concierge through Vacationeze.
Well, I do not charge. I do not charge any extra fees for my service. I tell my clients that up front. I never have. I think that it's important for them to know that because they're not paying to retain me as their agent. So that should tell them a little bit about I'm doing this because I want to see them get a fabulous vacation, as well as I get paid from the resort.
Okay.
Now, I'm not knocking any of the agents that do, because
right.
some of them do, and that's their business. I also know some agents don't charge for international travel, but because we tend to make less on domestic hotels that we book, they may apply an extra fee to that.
Okay.
But luckily, as of now, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Well, thank you for being transparent about that, and for those that want to use your service, as well as myself, that will be using your service, we know that we won't be charged an extra fee because of your great service.
Exactly.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So a little bit of discussion around being a business owner and going into the travel industry. So what was the driving force behind, I already know that you have a passion for travel. And as a business coach, I coach micro and small business owners. And what I find is the happy business owner is the one that has turned their passion into their business. So it sounds like for you turn this love and passion for travel into, I'm not even going to call it a business, I'm going to call it a service, because you really are providing a service to people that wouldn't otherwise, and again, you mentioned it, we can go online and spend hours and hours and hours searching. I've done it myself, and pretty much come up with I'm at the same point I was when I first started.
Exactly.
But I've been at the computer for, hours, and it's time that I'm not going to get back. So I've gotten smarter. It's like, well, pay people to do the job that they do well. And in your case, you're going to get paid not from me, but from the resort.
Exactly.
So, let's just talk about, from a business perspective, what made you decide to turn your passion for travel into a business, but it's really a service.
I love how you put that. And as people say, do what you love and you never work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting. After I left being a parent liaison, I worked here in the county. I decided I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
Didn't know what it was. So I took a couple months and was looking at a couple different things. And it was actually my daughter, Logan, who mentioned to me, Mommy, you love to travel. Why don't you help other people to travel? And I said, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. So I looked around and started looking at becoming an agent. I looked at going out to be a concierge. I looked at, what it took. And it's really ironic that I ended up going on a trip with my aunt, and the guy that put it together was looking for an independent consultant.
Wow. Okay.
So what that meant is he
Divine
has the business.
right?
It's kind of interesting. Exactly. So what that means is he has the business, but he was looking for people to come in under him as independent consultant. So to run their own business under him.
Okay.
And the reason why it was very interesting to me is because after meeting Jack, and that's the guy that I work with, he is so connected. He used to have a business that the Knot bought, which all the brides out there know is a wonderful, wonderful site.
Yes.
So he's so connected, and I learned a lot from him. So I thought this was a great route because I didn't want to just jump out there not knowing what I was getting into. Even though you have the passion, you still need to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I've learned a lot from him, and that's what I love about being an independent consultant. So because of that, I started it, and it was basically word of mouth, and it has grown. And that's kind of how I began this business.
And so, you're anticipating all of my next questions.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry.
And it's all good because, we're just talking.
Okay.
So, I think, can you talk a little bit more about, you talked about, you weren't sure, you knew you had the passion, and, you knew it was going to be travel, after a while, but can you talk a little bit more about what made you decide to go with this existing business versus just kind of jumping out and doing it on your own? Because I know so many folks have started their own travel businesses. And travel is a big. It's a big item, and people always travel. I think even during like the period 2009, 2010, when we had the real estate bust, and we were kind of in a depressed economy. I think people still travel, so people will find a way
to still get away,
still travel. Because we need that whole work-life balance. That whole thing. So. That was my roundabout way of asking you, what made you decide to go with this existing business? You met, did you say his name was Jack? Jack? So you met Jack, you were impressed with him. So what was kind of the pivotal moment that you said, okay, I'm going to go with Jack versus doing this on my own? Because I can tell from your personality, you probably could have done it on your own.
Well, thank you.
But what was the pivotal deciding point that made you decide this is the business for me as an independent consultant?
Okay. Well, when I went to do some of the research that I found was some people actually have, and believe it or not, it's the travel has a multi-level marketing options as well. And I've been there, done that. I did not want to do that anymore. So I knew this was something that I wanted to just have Lesley and take care of Lesley.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to find something that I could actually do. And the other thing about this is I did not want to go out of the home. My daughters were still in school. I was busy doing, very active with them in terms of school. So I wanted to make sure that I was still able to do that as well as the business. Flexibility was very important to me. So by working with Jack, I'm able to have the best of both worlds. I work at home. I work at my desk. I get up early morning. As people know, I'm an early morning riser. So I start my quotes and do my proposals first thing in the morning.
You treat it like a business.
I treat it like a
Right.
business, even
Right.
though I'm doing it from home.
Right.
So I'm able to still learn. And I mean, who knows how long Jack's going to be doing it? He is still very young, and I'm still learning from him. But I know that maybe one day I will branch out. Who knows?
Okay. And how long have you been doing it so
It's
far?
been 3 years.
3 years. Okay. And it sounds like you're doing really, really well.
Yeah, it's going well. Thank you.
What do you think is next for you in terms of travel? I mean, what's happening? Is anything new in the travel industry that I know, we talked about Cuba. That's kind of new. That's a new destination.
A lot of new destinations. There's still, everyone is still going to the resorts. They're still cruising. None of that is changing. I think people are branching out to different spots. They're considering the Belize, the Fijis. They're considering different locations.
But they're further destinations.
They're further destinations, so they're taking more time. It can be.
But
yes,
beautiful.
They are. They are. They are. They're thinking more exotic places.
I'm not knocking it. It's just, I've looked at Fiji and Tahiti and, places further out, because I've been to the Caribbean. I'm not a European traveler, but I've been to just about every Caribbean island because that's just what I'm attracted to. So let's talk about Europe because I didn't even ask you about that. So what about the European traveler?
It's funny. I've only booked one. Most of my clients too love that Caribbean life, but I did book a 50th birthday trip to Paris, girlfriend's trip. Fabulous. They had a fabulous time, but I don't get a lot of requests for that. I myself love Europe. I've been to Spain, but I am going to. When people ask me and they say they don't know where to go, I do suggest places like that, but they always tend to go back to an island.
Back to the Caribbean.
They tend to go to an island.
Maybe it's that whole, get down to the Caribbean and we're on island time and, it's relaxing. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's my preference, but, I'm thinking maybe I should branch out and look at some of the European destinations just to kind of round out my own cultural experience.
Exactly. And some other things to think about is I'm starting to talk to people who are into scuba diving, yoga, and Zumba, and they want to take their classes abroad and maybe go to a resort and do something there. So that's a niche that I'm looking into.
Yeah, that's different. That is really different. So
absolutely.
It sounds like when I ask you what's different for you or what's next for you, sounds like you're going to be creating some different travel niches.
Yes.
And we're excited to hear about those.
Yeah, so that's one of them. And the other one is where, as you know, there's a lot of Greek sororities and fraternities, and they take they do annual celebrations. It's nice to see that now a lot of them are doing trips, and that's a niche that I would like to get into as well.
I think you've already started that, haven't you?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, so I've been following what you've been doing, so it looks like you've been doing a lot. So, how can people get in contact with you? Because we talked a lot, but we didn't even give out your website information. So let's just share your website information with folks. I think it's rolling on the screen.
It's coming up on the screen. But it's actually Lesley at Vacationeze.com, Lesley at Vacationeze, which is VACATIONEEZE.com.
That is your email address. What is your website?
Vacationeze.com.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, is there anything else about, the future, what the future holds for travel? Anything that you want to share with our viewers about travel? I mean, if I didn't already know you and I was listening, I would be calling you right now.
Phone's gonna blow
to book
up.
My trip. Yes, I hope your phone start blowing up.
Well, I just think that people need to understand that some people think it's just too expensive and out of reach. And not only do we deserve to do that, as we work hard, we should play hard. And I believe that everyone should at least look into it. I try to work with all areas, all budget ranges. If someone tells me that they're in a certain range, then I do my best to try to find them somewhere that they can go. It may not be that week, but it may be sometime that they can get away. So I say don't discard it and think it's not for you or you can't afford it. It's not achievable. It is achievable. And I just want people to know that it's a great time to get out. There's so many amazing options, so many great places to go. So I just try to help you get to your trip and get on your vacation with ease.
So other than summertime, what's another good time to travel?
Oh, wow.
Because I know springtime, there's a lot of spring break travelers. You mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
About, spring break destinations versus non-spring break destinations.
Exactly.
So what's another good time?
Oh, there's another good time. September in the fall, once the kids back to school, a lot of the resorts will lower their rates because
right.
people aren't traveling. But it's a great time for you, my
as a
single or
traveler.
girlfriends, to get away and do a trip.
Okay.
Sometimes early January is a great time.
Are the prices pretty good after
Yeah,
the holidays?
it depends. It depends. But yes, but then you can also get, again, I'm always looking out for my clients, even though I typically don't add in their air, but it's also a good time to get that discount on the air.
Okay.
So if we're going to combine that, it's a great time to bundle it and get a better price.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lesley, so
No
much
problem.
for sharing all of your travel expertise. And again, visit Lesley at vacationeze.com. And to learn more about me, again, I'm Kathleen Driver. I'm your host, and this show is Savvy, where I'm featuring entrepreneurs, authors, and people with a passion. So you can learn more about me and my books on kd2publishing.com, or you can also visit my website for my business coaching, which is called mindyourbusinessllc.com. Thank you for joining, Lesley. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And
thank you.
Folks, please, 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 if you have travel needs, make sure you contact Lesley at vacationeze.com. And Lesley, give us your email address one more time.
Lesley at vacationeze.com.
All right. Thank you, folks. And we'll see you next week on Savvy on Thursdays at 6:30.